Got some more Black Ops 2 information today. So we got a couple of cool topics to talk about. Number one of which is where we should be pre-ordering our games from, because some of the different retailers have different incentives, and one of them is much better than the others. So I'm going to let you guys know about that. And then also we're going to talk about the campaign, because I don't know if you guys saw it or not. It was an interview on Machinima with Mark Lamia. He's the studio head of Treyarch. They talked about the campaign. They really revealed a lot of stuff. We're going to take a look at that, as well as there's been some articles that have came out, and we'll kind of compare the two and things like that. So anyway, getting into the pre-orders here, we're going to really focus on three main retailers. There's going to be GameStop, which is probably the biggest, Best Buy, and then Amazon. Now, I know most of these are, typically directed more towards America. I don't know what you have in other countries. I know the UK has like game.com, right? And I think you guys get a free poster for ordering there. But anyway, let's get into these big three. So on Amazon, don't do it, okay? All you get on Amazon for pre-ordering is like a desktop wallpaper, and that's nothing. I mean, you could go download that if you wanted. So that's a ripoff. Don't get it on Amazon, if you're looking to get something for pre-ordering the game. Now, Best Buy is a little bit better. As you can see in this picture here, you get dog tags when you pre-order it, which is pretty cool. You can put them on your car keys or whatever, but that's not really what I'm looking for. I want something a little bit better, and the best thing you're gonna get is from GameStop. So as you can see from this little market flyer right here, when you first pre-order right in the store, they're going to give you a two-sided poster, which is a pretty cool poster, but it is just a poster. There's nothing special about that. But what's special about GameStop is if you look down towards the middle of this flyer, you get something extra in July, in August, and in October. Now, they haven't really revealed what those things are going to be, but in general, I think if you get 4 things, that's much better than just getting one cheap pair of dog tags. So that's my suggestion to you guys. If you get to choose where you pre-order this game from, I would definitely go with GameStop, and I would go soon so you can take advantage of getting that poster and then get the other rewards throughout the year as we get closer and closer to release. So that's what I had to tell you guys. Hope you all take advantage of it and pre-order at GameStop. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about was the campaign mode in this game, and like I said, this was on Machinima Respawn's channel, so some of you guys may have seen this interview. I just know that a lot of people aren't subbed to Machinima because they spam out videos like it's nobody's business, so I figured we could talk about it and compare it with some articles. So if you've already seen it, you may want to click away, but if not, let's learn about this campaign. So first of all, let's just find out in general, like, what's the premise behind this campaign? What's the story? What's the fight about? Here it is.
It's real. There's real, like, actual Black Ops cyber warfare going on right now in the world, and it's making some of the headlines. We use rare earth materials as sort of, in our fiction, as the new oil in the next decade. These are the things that you find in all of our consumer electronics devices, your smartphones, your tablets, your plasmas. Ironically enough, we call it the new oil. It actually is in the materials that are going to replace our dependency on oil. It's in hybrid car batteries, it's in wind turbines and solar technologies. All these technologies are all using these rare earth. Now, I think the shocking thing is that, that people might not understand, is that 95% of the world's rare earth materials are coming from China.
Alright, so there you have it. That's kind of like the main conflict of this campaign, is that we're running out of raw earth materials and we want to get them from China. As he said, most of them come from China. And as we know, this game is going to be taking place in 2025, which is over a decade in the future. And right now, we have a lot of technology, iPads, cell phones, computers, all that kind of stuff. But think about 10 years in the future, how much faster we're going to be going through that stuff, how much more technology we're going to have, and how much more important those materials are going to be. And if we don't have good access to those, that's going to start a war. And that's what the main campaign is going to be about, is us probably just mainly fighting with China over these materials. Now, he also kind of mentioned some cyber terrorism, and I think that plays in with when Wood said in the campaign, what happens when the enemy takes the keys. It's talking about, we have all this technology, these unmanned vehicles, these unmanned tanks and stuff, and the enemies start cyber hacking into us and take control of our weapons and use them against us. So that's going to be another conflict that we face. Now, the thing is this Call of Duty game is going to be nothing like any other Call of Duty ever. The campaign is going to be completely different, and here's how.
Campaign structure for Call of Duty, typically been fairly linear, right, in terms of you play and then you go to the next mission. When you get to a strike force level, JSOC Command's going to lay out the situation in the world, the Cold War at the time. You got your hotspots. You'll be able to choose the mission that you want to go on with your Black Ops. You get dropped into that hotspot and you can play it. You either get mission success or failure. And normally in Call of Duty, if you fail, it's like you play again, right? But actually in this mission, if you fail, that's just part of the story, and it goes off on a different branch. At the very basic level, you can play it like you play every other Call of Duty level. You get dropped in the ground, you have your squad, it's in the future, takes place in 2025, so you have all the technology and tools on the battlefield at the time are in the mission with you, and you can just play through it and take objectives. But that would only be scratching the surface, because you actually have the opportunity to move between different members of your squad. You can take over any of the equipment on the battlefield, whether it's the land ones or the air ones. You can fly and drive, and they have awesome weaponry. You can play it in Overwatch mode, which is a tactical view. You can set up your scenario in tactical view, then go back down and play it on the ground, and then you can move to be one of the, if you want to be a quad rotor.
Wow, now that just absolutely blows my mind. No longer is Call of Duty just a straight and narrow campaign where you start, you go forward, you follow the yellow brick road, and you stop. Now there's a lot of diversity. You can play as yourself, as just a regular soldier. You can switch to your squad mates. You can fly a jet. You can drive a tank. You can go up in Overwatch mode, which I assume is kind of like Halo Wars, if you guys have ever seen or played that, and control your people like chess pieces. I mean, there's a million different ways that you can play the campaign now, and that's super, super exciting. First of all, because no one's going to have the same experience. It's going to keep it fresh, but also, maybe you're tired of getting noob-tubed in multiplayer? Go play some campaign and control a fleet of quad rotors. I mean, how fun does that sound? So I'm pretty excited about it. And not only did they make it so you can change who you're, kind of controlling in the campaign, but who you're controlling and what happens actually affects the outcome of the story. Check this out.
And the thing about it is when you play one of these levels, it actually affects the storyline, because it affects what's going on in the Cold War and on the geopolitical level, and it branches off. And that's really the case with actually the there'll be these key decision points in the game, and they're going to come at you COD style, not like it's not going to come up and it's going to be like, hey, there's a choice A or B. Which one do you want? It's going to be COD style. It's going to be intense. You're going to know there's a fork in the road, and it's happening, and you have to make a really hard decision, and some of these are going to be like really intense decisions, and the story will change as a result of that.
OMG, that is absolutely insane. It's like an interactive campaign. It kind of reminded me of Heavy Rain. If you guys haven't seen that game, you should definitely check it out. It's a PS3 exclusive. I actually did a Let's Play of it on my second channel, so click the annotation on screen and go check that out after this video. But anyway, so that's insane. What you do and how you succeed or fail in missions in one part of the campaign affects future parts of the campaign, and this was actually touched on by an article. The link is down in the description, but it says if players fail these missions, which happens when troops are no longer available for you to control, or succeed, the consequence bleeds into single player. This may make consequent challenges easier or more difficult for players in future story missions. A player's actions may also affect the objectives of Raul Menendez, the main antagonist in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. So what you do could affect what your enemy does. How insane is that? I'm so excited. And here's another article. It says, you're going to choose a mission, and that's a branch for the story. Say there's 3 missions out there. You're not going to go back and play all of them. The story goes on. If you die on a Strike Force mission, you die in the story. And, I think that sounds so cool. What you do in some instance is going to affect future, missions or outcomes or endings possibly that you may get in the game, which is exciting. You could play the campaign a couple of times and get different outcomes, and it's really going to keep the game fresh. So I'm pretty excited about it, and I think you guys should be too. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to leave you guys with, and number one of which is right here, which is kind of like their main idea when they approach this game. Check it out.
It's a COD game, and there's a ton of run and gun, but we've tried to break it up with all kinds of new game mechanics to keep it interesting and keep it fun, and we're really pushing the boundaries on not only gameplay in the campaign, but storytelling with the branching storylines, the fiction, and really just pretty much on every front, just trying to really push the boundaries, and I don't think it's what anyone's expecting for a Call of Duty game.
Alright, so there you have it. That was their mentality with this game, and he's really kind of talking about single player, but I assume they mean that for the whole game in general, because we've seen them hint at that before. They are not trying to make a, cookie cutter Call of Duty. They are innovating. They are doing new stuff. They're doing things we would never expect and we've never seen before, which is exciting because that's what we've been asking for the past like 4 or 5 years of Call of Duty. Duty to have something totally new, and we finally got it. So hopefully it's good, and I'm betting it will be. Treyarch does an awesome job. Now, there's one last little clip that I want to leave you guys with, which is talking about a possible kill streak type attachment in Black Ops 2. Now, in this, he was referring to it being in the single player, but we've also seen hints to it being in multiplayer. So enjoy this last clip, think about it, guys, and here we go.
With your sniper rifle, which by the way has an awesome optic that'll be coming out, I'm sure, in the next decade, where you'll have the ability to penetrate and see through materials. It has some technologies in there with an electronic charge that'll penetrate different materials, and you're able to provide cover for the troops on the ground.
Boom! There you have it. Wall-banging X-ray vision sniper rifles might be a kill streak in Black Ops 2, because I've seen it in a couple of different places. There was this interview, there's been some articles. Vonderhaar was tweeting about how he wanted a way to wall-bang campers, so we'll have to wait and see, but it sounds pretty cool. Think about getting quads through walls. How awesome would that be? But anyway, I'll leave you guys to think about that, and thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, then if you could throw a rating my way, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. This video took quite a bit of work to put together all the articles and videos and stuff, and I would love to share it with more people. But anyway, guys, I've got a bunch of great videos